and thank you so much. Thanks for coming back for yet another episode. And if you're watching the video and you're asking yourself, why am I sitting here in a crop top? Let me tell you, it's freaking hot here in Los Angeles, and our home where we're living, there's no AC. I cannot turn the fan on because then it doesn't really work with the microphone. So here I am, just simply sweating. If your second question is, why is my face so red? Well, let me tell you, today it's Sunday. I'm recording this episode on Sunday, and on Saturday, if we have the chance, if I have time, we hit the beach. We go to Venice Beach, me and my husband, and we go out for a surf. So yesterday we had so much fun surfing, but unfortunately forgot to reapply the sunscreen, and yet here I am looking like a lobster. But while I look like a lobster and maybe my outfit is not on point, the value that's being delivered here in my podcast, it's always superb. So let's dive right in. Are you offering a service or a product on Instagram and trying to sell it? But you notice it's not really selling, although you might have a decent following, even if you don't have a decent following. So you might think like, what is going on? Why can I not sell my damn product on Instagram? And I hear this from clients all the time. I overcome this issue all the time. I hear about it all the time. And today in this episode, I want to take a moment to really review and uncover all the mistakes that you could possibly make, and that's why you're not selling your product or service on Instagram. Instagram launched back in 2010. I think I joined about a year later after Instagram launched, and in 2013 I really decided to take it to the next level. And the reason why, so in 2013 I started my first job in a social media marketing agency. I basically barely moved here from Germany to the US, started my life here, and was lucky enough to get a marketing job at an agency. I started out in like business development, eventually then the whole marketing agency got split up into different departments. I moved into the social media department, working as a social media coordinator, and we were like offering social media services to gaming clients, so people who want to sell computer games, Xbox games, PlayStation, you name it, but also movie clients. And at that time we had, I believe, was one movie client and a gaming client for like computer games, Xbox, PlayStation. And at that time we wanted to we wanted to activate influencers to really get the name out there. And that was really my first time getting like, influencer marketing, activating influencers to promote your product. Some of them we paid, some of them we just sent the product, and it really opened my eyes and like, wow, that's great. I want to be potentially paid. Back then I didn't really know were able to get paid, but I really wanted to get the free products. And like, oh, you just post a picture and you get free product? That's amazing. Of course I want to do that. So I went home to my husband, I want to start my own blog, I want to start my Instagram channel. And at the beginning he was like, oh, is this a good thing to do? Do you really want to do this? But eventually he came around. He actually came up with my blog name German Blondie, and since then he's my Instagram husband, still supporting me up to this day. And over the years I was able to get really amazing collaborations. Still now, I still attend events, and being an influencer really helps me on the other spectrum to work with the brands and my clients. But back to the point why I started this whole thing. Back in 2013, trust me, it was much easier to gain engagement, followers. Everything was in a chronological feed. Back then Instagram was a photo sharing app. So you shared a picture, it was a little square, you put it on the app, you made a spelling mistake in your caption, well, you're doomed. Because there was no way you can edit it. Either you delete the picture or just live with that spelling error for the rest of your life. Well, there was a few posts here and there where I might or might not have a spelling error, but over the time, Instagram really gained popularity and merged itself into one of the leading social media platforms. Currently, there's about 1.2 billion users on the platform each month. And as a brand, you really want to utilize that. And when you think about Instagram really is a one-stop shop. We have all the ages. We have our Gen Zers here. Even our Gen Zers are on the platform, and although they're also on TikTok, the new kid on the block, they still go back to Instagram to share the TikToks they maybe created on TikTok, to share them as reels, or they go there to do stories or pictures, or just engage on like DMs. Really, if we look at the demographic, if we look at ages, people over 18 years old, they spend 30 minutes a day uninterrupted on Instagram. They just scroll and scroll, they look at the newsfeed, they watch stories, they post, they watch live streams, they catch up with their favorite brands. And all of these are opportunities for you. And even though Instagram might be changing the algorithm and the chronological feed disappeared, and now you have the chance to actually edit your post once you make a mistake. It's still evolving. There's more features coming out. Instagram wants to really lure in, wants to hook all the people onto the platform that you spend more time on it. And this platform also offers tons of opportunities for you to get in touch with your potential clients. So now that we cover basically how I got started and what Instagram really is and a little bit about the demographic, so I want to reveal 5 mistakes that you might be making that you should stop making so you can turn those fans into paying customers. Number 1 is really building a community. And building a community, especially in this day and age, is super, super important. I mean, whether you heard of it or not, but Web3 is right around the corner. It's like knocking on the door, wants to get inside. And Web3, and I'm going to cover this in a later episode as well, but Web3 is really all about making connections and community and decentralization, and you're being the owner, basically ownership of your own data. And whether you heard about Web3 and you're already implementing some of those things in your current marketing efforts, but in general, where marketing is heading towards is building a community. And building a community really comes down to being intentional. You gotta show up online. You gotta create content that's built for your online community. And you know, everyone is always thriving to say, I want to build followers, I want to get more followers and more followers and more followers. And while you might think this is the great approach for your brand, I have to disappoint you because it's not. Followers and getting millions or 500,000, getting thousands of followers, that's not the point. The point is, in reality, you should be focusing on building a community. And let me tell you, there are influencers out there who have 500,000 of followers, and they sell less product than someone who had 1,000 followers. So it's really about it's really about building the community. It's really having, even though you just have 100 or 1,000 subscribers on the Instagram, these 1,000 subscribers can be way more powerful than 100 or 200,000 subscribers, because they actually believe you. They buy from you. They believe whatever you put out there. They think of you as an expert in the niche, and that's really what you want to do. This is the community you want to have. But what is the difference between having community and having an audience? What is the difference? And basically, a community is a group of brand advocates who love to engage with your content by commenting, liking, sharing, direct messaging you. A community is active online and they care about your brand. They care about you. Whereas followers, or in this case an audience, if you put it into comparison, just sits around and they don't really engage with your content. So to pull an analogy, it's basically going to a sports game without ever cheering for your home team. So you tell me, who wants a stadium full of people who are not going to cheer for your home team? No one. And as I mentioned before, Instagram really is a one-stop shop. Other social media platforms like TikTok, they focus on just uploading short form content. YouTube is known for longer form content, but Instagram is really all of the above. Other social media players like YouTube and TikTok, they have limited ways for users to interact with their content. For example, you cannot just direct your favorite creator on YouTube and send them a DM or slide into their DMs because you have a question or you just want to tell them something. Well, that's not really possible. Or you cannot upload your favorite image of your cat onto TikTok. It has to be a video. So Instagram is a place that offers all of the above. On Instagram, you can upload images. You can upload short form video, long form video. You can upload reels. You can slide into people's DMs. You can customize lenses. You can have your own effects when you use stories. And all of these different ways will help you to attract followers, will help you to attract new clients and pull them into your Instagram channel. Also, these different ways will help you to build a relationship, to nurture your clients, to build and to strengthen existing connections, and then eventually, finally convert them into paying customers. And now, if you're thinking about it and maybe you're just looking at your Instagram while you're listening to me and you realize like, oh my god, I only post images. You're kind of missing out. You gotta use all of the above. You gotta post stories, you gotta post videos, you gotta post reels, you gotta create the in-feed stories, the carousel post. The reason why you want to create all of these different types of content, because each person likes to consume a different form of content. Some people like to watch videos, some people like to engage more with photos, other people just go on the platform to watch stories. And if you're not creating content for all of these different types of users, you're really missing out. And I'm going to talk in a moment about how stories are different from reels and in-feed content, so how all of these would play into your Instagram strategy, how they can convert your clients. But ultimately, if you're only focusing on one content format and only one step of the buyer journey, you're missing out. And that's one of the reasons why you're not converting your current audience or your current community into buying customers. And that brings me to the second point, really unlocking the content formula. I always say posting random content on Instagram is like going to the forest and eating every mushroom you find. Generally speaking, that's not a great idea. If you only post one type of content and you have been doing this for years, you shouldn't be surprised why your account is not growing. You shouldn't be surprised why you stay stagnant. Just remember, you're not the only fish in the sea. You gotta stand out, meaning you need to offer a variety of content to stand out and to attract clients. Goal is to ultimately build a relationship with your audience, and you can do this by switching up your content. Just imagine meeting your friend, and every time you meet this friend, you have the same conversation over and over and over again. That's like if you continue to post the same stuff over and over and over again. It's excessively boring. So that's the reason why you need to utilize all the different aspects of Instagram. For example, Instagram offers different posting formats. Instagram offers many different ways to get your content out there. You can upload images, you can upload videos, you can upload stories, and it can be very tempting to abandon your current strategy every time Instagram rolls out a new tool, a new feature. It's like almost that shiny object that you just want to have. So all the old toys, to hell with the old toys. There's a new shiny object, there's a new shiny toy. Well, don't do that either. So don't abort your current content strategy just because a new feature rolled out. Because if you do that, then it's not going to work for you either. So let's say you used to post a mixture of stories and in-feed content. So back then called IGTV, but you upload longer form videos and in-feed posts, and all of a sudden Reel came around the corner and you abandoned your current strategy. You said, to hell with that shit. Well, that's the wrong approach as well. You need to understand what content to use in each phase of the sales process. Reels are great for awareness. Carousel posts are amazing for engagement, and stories add a personal touch. On Reels you can get like super creative, you can make fun transitions and really hook the reader. Carousel posts are great to really show in-depth knowledge on like different slides. And stories can be raw, you don't need to edit your stories, you can just show up on them even with your hair undone, no makeup on. I literally just woke up and you just want to say hello to your followers, you can do this as well. And it adds such a personal touch, it really humanizes your brand. And while it is important to show a variety of different posting formats, so Reels, stories, in-feed posts, it is also important within those categories to switch up your posts. Meaning, if you post Reels and they're about the same topic over and over again, just in a different angle, it gets a little bit boring. So you want to also make sure that you post different ideas within those content formats. So for example, one Reel could be funny, then on the other Reel you can provide some value, on the other Reel you can introduce yourself to followers. Maybe you have a podcast or you have a video, so you can cut that into pieces and just like little snippets out of your video. So try to be creative within these posting formats. For example, a lot of times I just post talking head stories, meaning I just record myself, hold the phone in my hand, record myself as a talking head. And you know, that can get a little bit boring if you post this over and over again. So you should switch them up. So I throw in an image, I throw in a quote, I show some behind the scene content, so my viewers, they stay engaged, they want to keep viewing my stories. Remember, everyone has a different preference on how to consume content. Design your content in a way where you cater to as many learners and different learners as possible. Which brings me to my next point. Now that you really understand that you should switch up your content, let's go back to really understanding your community. And don't confuse defining your niche with understanding your community. Those are fundamentally two different things. Understanding your community goes beyond age range, demographic, or interest. It dives into their mindset. It really to understand your community really goes in why did they follow you in the first place, why they're consuming your content, what type of content are they consuming, and why did they or did not purchase your product. Well, I don't know why they did not buy my product, or I don't know why they bought my product, or I don't know what they like about my post. There's a simple way to find all of the information, and that's by simply conducting a survey. And there are two types of surveys. There is a simplified survey and there's a more advanced survey. So let's break them down. And generally speaking, like, a survey is the simplest way to get any type of information from your audience. And let's start by explaining what is a simple survey. A simple survey can simply be run over your Instagram account. You would just put a question into the Q&A sticker, post it on your stories, and wait for all those answers, for all the feedback to slide back in your DMs. Conducting a survey via Instagram, it's also a great way for you to continue the conversation. So for example, if you post, what did you like about this product? Or if you purchased this product, what did you like about? And the client answers you and they might have some feedback, you can instantly respond to them in your direct messages and really strengthen the relationship. So that's one of the great advantages of running a survey on your Instagram stories. But running surveys on Instagram story is very simplified. So you have one question and then you would wait for your customer or your followers to answer the question. You could potentially post a bunch of Q&A stickers, but I think that might be a little bit too overwhelming if you get like 10 Q&A stickers in a row when they're tapping through your story. So you might want to stay away from this. You can ask 1 to 2 questions, but if you really want to have a dynamic survey where you want to get answers to at least 10 questions, I would go with an advanced survey. So what's an advanced survey? An advanced survey, you can put this together with Google Forms. Google Forms is a tool like SurveyMonkey. It's free, you can use it, and you can share it with all your followers. The advantage, you have the chance to ask clients open-ended questions. And open-ended questions really give the client the chance to open up, to share all the feedback or criticism they might have. One of the things you should definitely consider when running a survey is providing some sort of incentive. And an incentive could be anything from like a free gift, a coupon code, or a prize draw when they completed the questionnaire. But also remember, when you run surveys, opinions and behavior might change over time. So you want to run a survey every now and then. So I would say check in with your followers regularly and run a survey anywhere between like every 2 months or every 6 months to really stay up to date with your clients' behavior, so you always know what's going on. And I mentioned earlier that a survey can also lead to direct messages, but in general, you can always start a conversation via your direct messages. And that's a really great way to engage with your community. You can even ask your followers in a post that you post to direct message you with their opinion, and then from there you can handle a private conversation. So for example, you can post your offer, you can say, hey, if you want more information about this offer, just shoot me a DM. And then once your customer, your potential client, your potential customer responds to your DM, you can further elaborate on the offer and really help them to understand what you're offering and hook them into that offer. But also, once a client, whether this is coming from a survey or you're directing them to direct message you, but anytime a potential client, a customer, a follower, whoever is sliding into your DMs, you really have to listen carefully. Like, really listen to them. Listen to their question. Really understand what they want from you. And you should care about their opinions. You should care about their feedback. You should answer their questions. And you should also take their comments or criticism into consideration. Generally speaking, you should always nurture your relationships and provide additional value when someone slides into your DMs. And another mistake that I see is posting the wrong content. So online, you really want to show up as an expert. You want to show off your expertise. You want to show off your expertise because you want to give people a reason to follow you. And showing off your expertise goes back to value. You should always provide valuable content. Don't just post content, random content to fill your channels. That is super pointless. And it wastes your energy creating pointless content. And that's just nonsense. Everything that you put out there should have value. And now when you think about value, it's like, oh my god, value, that's for me education. Value doesn't necessarily mean it has to be educational. Value could also mean that it's empowering someone, it's motivating someone, it's giving ideas, insights, and of course educational content. But valuable content can really be anything from a tip, it could be an advice, it could be some insights, could be a case study you show. It doesn't always have to be like a new aspect. It can also be simply as motivating someone, empowering someone, really telling someone, hey, I'm here for you, I listen to you, or I've been in the same position as you and I can relate to you. And that's what I did to get out of the situation. So it's really not just providing educational content, it's really value in the sense of how can it help your clients, how can it help your customers. And another aspect is really personalize your brand. The truth is, people connect with people they can relate to. It's always been that way, it's going to be that way, it will forever stay the way. So it is important that you show the human side, the human aspect of your brand. You can utilize photos, stories, and videos that really tell your story, that really connect with your audience, and weave that into your content strategy to connect with your audience online. I always recommend introduce and reintroduce yourself to your followers. Share a personal story that strengthens the bond between you and your audience. And while providing value and showing off your personal side and being there for your followers, those are all fantastic strategies. But at the end of the day, you also need to think about where your income is coming from, and that leads us to the next step, an offer. A lot of marketers get nervous when it comes to introducing the offer or introducing the sale. Generally speaking, salesy content have a low engagement rate, making it seem like your audience is not really interested in your sales content. But that's wrong. That is absolutely wrong. You will notice clicks and conversions on the back end, meaning on your website. They might not like your post, but it might resonate to them, so they go and check out your website and then purchase your product. And if you're just getting started and you never sold online, or you're just getting started with selling online, here are a few quick tips. I would start by creating a carousel post, outlining your offer, explaining your offer, and then on the last slide you have a call to action slide. So a call to action slide that either directs people onto your website or sliding into your DMs, whatever you want it to be. I would also post client reviews on your Instagram stories. If you have reviews, definitely post them. It builds trust, it builds a relationship, it really shows your credibility. And posting, I would say post, for example, on Tuesdays and Thursdays, you always post client testimonials, and that really builds the credibility that you also need to convince someone to purchase your product. Another great way is to create a lead magnet. So that could be like a mini course if you're a content creator, if you're a course creator, if you're a coach, or free samples if you are selling product. This way, this really allows your customer to get to know you. If you're a coach or a course creator, it really helps them to understand your teaching style. And if you're a brand providing free samples, it really helps them to feel your product, to get in touch with your product, and eventually to fall in love with your product. And last but not least, analytics. We cannot ignore analytics. You need to understand your metrics and look at the metrics that get you closer to the goal. Oftentimes, I see marketers and clients that I have, they just look simply at the wrong metrics. And if you look at the wrong metrics, you get disencouraged real quick. If you want to grow your audience online, look at the content that you're posting. Understand what content brings in new followers, what type of content does new followers respond to. Also look at the content, what brought in the most followers recently. Looking at all these metrics, so really understanding what content brings in followers and what was your recent post that brought in a good wave of followers. This will help you to create more content of what gains you followers. And that's why it's super important to understand your analytics. So let's say you want to generate more followers, but when you look at the analytics, you look at what generates the most clicks. That doesn't make sense, because clicks and new followers, that doesn't really go together. So just keep that in mind. Don't look at the wrong metric. Look at the metric that is ultimately your goal. Also, stick to your strategy and analyze it carefully. Stick to your strategy and analyze carefully why it might not work. If you want more sales, you have to ask for them. Don't ask for likes and comments if you want the damn sale. If you want the damn sale, you gotta ask for the damn sale. Remember, being active on social media will cost you time, so you have to be strategic with the content you put out. Ask yourself, does this piece of content provide value? If you constantly show up, this will positively impact your account. So I hope this really helped you to understand how to build a community, how to convert followers into buying customers. And I really enjoyed this episode today. I hope it brought as much value to you as it brings to my clients. And until next time, goodbye. How we say in Germany, auf Wiedersehen.